Welcome to Crash Reviews. My name is Crash, and this is my review for the Dresden Files books, Peace Talks, and Battlegrounds. Now, I'm reviewing them together because they are volume 1 and 2 of one book. They were split into two books, and they are not two books. They are volume 1 and 2, which is another, well, there were some interesting marketing choices and statements made in regards to not wanting to charge people $50 to $60 for one gigantic book. So instead, they charged us $50 to $60 for two books. I understand, hasn't been a Dresden Files book in a while, wanting to make money off the license and the property. Fully understand that, fully in support of it. Because I would like the series to continue, and that means they need to make money. I don't like marketing like that. I do not like it when a company lies to us and thinks we're stupid. A statement like that, oh, we didn't want to charge you $50 to $60 for one big volume. That's a lie. That's a flat out lie, and we're not dumb. So that's something that does anger me, frustrate me. I don't appreciate being treated like I'm stupid by companies. However, the books are fantastic. Jim Butcher is a great author. I think he's one of the best authors writing today. If you have not read his Aeronauts Windlass, book 1, definitely do that. Aeronauts Windlass, part of the Cinder Spire series, the only book in the Cinder Spire series currently, but fantastic book. The Dresden Files are amazing books. I never personally could get into the Codex Alara all that much. It just wasn't really my thing, which is kind of funny since I love Roman mythology and lore. But it didn't hook me. But I know a number of people that love those books. Not just like, they love those books. And that's one of the great things about books and TV and movies. Art is subjective. And novels are definitely an art form. But these books are fantastic. Peace Talks and Battlegrounds. Volume 1, Volume 2. So no spoilers. No spoilers, kind of hard. I think there's a lot of great character development in these books. They move the story forward in a way that it hasn't been in a while. Not that the story's stalled, but it's just been kind of steadily rolling along. And it's not been leaping forward like it used to in some of the older books, which I understand. You get more and more characters, you get a bigger world, things get more nuanced, you need to take time to explain significant changes. These books, huge changes. I mean, for those that are readers of the series, the book changes. These books have changes to the world and the ongoing story at that level. It is world altering for the Dresden Files. I really enjoyed these books. I went through each of them in about a day and a half, which some people read faster than me, some people don't read as fast as me. But given my normal amount of time I'm able to devote to reading books these days, it was pretty quick for me. I love to read, absolutely love to read. I mean, I own 1,000 books. I have my own personal library, more or less. But I just don't have the time lately to read as much as I used to. Though, with doing this channel now, I can kind of make an excuse for reading a little more because I can review the books. But these books were absolutely fantastic. Volume 1 and Volume 2 are fairly distinctive, but they are two halves of one book. At the end of Volume 1, it leads into a transition. It's a mid-book climax, and then the second half plays out. And I will say, Battlegrounds is pure payoff. It is this big event. I mean, the title tells you that there's a gigantic battle. There's a huge battle. Peace Talks tells you that there's some attempted peace talks. The title of the book kind of gives you an indication of what's in it. Battlegrounds, Peace Talks is an attempt at peace talks. By the title of Battlegrounds, clearly those peace talks don't succeed. Battlegrounds then ensues, and it is world-changing. In every way. I mean, there's so much new stuff in this. And there's some interesting character developments for Harry Dresden. I am curious to see where Mr. Butcher goes with this. I have faith in him. He writes good books. He writes good stories. And ever since Summer Night, I personally had a very hard time struggling through book one. I actually owned book one for several years before I fully read it. I had bought it because I had had some friends that said Dresden Files was a cool series. And this was when I think just book 4 had just come out at that time. And I tried to read book 1. I found book 1 to be very boring. I put it back on the shelf after about 30 pages. And then I pulled it down about a year later, tried to read it again. Got about 40 pages in, put it back on the shelf. And then I tried a third time and only got about 30, 35 pages in again. And I put it back on the shelf, and I had decided just to not read the series. Well, then a very good friend of mine and his friends that I was hanging out with at the time would not stop talking about how awesome the series was and some of the later events, and that curiosity that I got from that pushed me forward into giving the series another go. And I am so glad I did, because it is a fantastic series. If you haven't read Dresden Files, I definitely recommend it. Audible, the audiobooks are fantastic. I'm not a big audiobook person myself. I have a hard time focusing on it while I would have to just sit and listen to that. And I have a hard time focusing on just one thing at a time. But the audio files are fantastic, read by the great James Marsden. Marsters. Sorry. Spike from Buffy the Vampire Slayer. He does a fantastic job. I've listened to bits and pieces of some of the audiobooks, but however you acquire your books, I prefer physical copies. I'm also not a big PDF reader. I need a book in my hands. PDFs, I can do it in a pinch, but I vastly prefer to have the book in my hands. But I definitely recommend the series. It's a really good series. Clearly. But Peace Talks and Battlegrounds, really, really good books. On their own, I'd probably only give Peace Talks about a C+, and Battlegrounds about a B-, just because they're not really a whole and complete story in and of themselves. They don't really fit, like that. It's not a beginning, middle, end with Peace Talks. It's not a beginning, middle, end with Battlegrounds. So separately, their scores wouldn't be as good. But together as volume 1 and 2, or as one big book, A-. I'd give it an A-. There's a few things that I'm a little confused on why they went down the way they did. There's a few problems that I have with the way some of the story unfolded. But yeah, A-. Really good books. Definitely worth the read, worth the time, worth the money, for me at least. But yeah, thank you for joining me today. I have been Crash, and this was my review of the Dresden Files, Peace Talks, and Battlegrounds by Jim Butcher. If you like this video, make sure to hit that like button. Subscribe if you want to see more videos from me. Make sure to hit the notification bell so you don't miss my uploads. Until next time, I've been Crash.